On we go, despite the torrential rain here in Berlin. Quarterfinal number 2 of the Recurve men's competition. Big support all around as we go down to the shooting line to welcome the athletes from the Netherlands and Canada.
On target number 1, representing the Netherlands.
Aufstellung Nummer 1 für die Niederlande.
Steve Wijler. On target number 2, representing Canada.
Aufstellung Nummer 2 für Kanada.
Eric Peters. The line judge for this matchup is
Der Kampfrichter für dieses Match ist
Mutsuni.
We're going to whiz through this really quickly, Chef. Steve Wijler from the Netherlands, your compatriot, world number 9, 26 years old, goes up against the world number 31, Eric Peters of Canada, the 26-year-old. But the biggest player in this one, despite it being quarterfinal of World Championships, is this weather.
Yeah, this weather is going to be difficult to shoot in. No matter how hard you try to ignore it, you need to deal with this as best as you can and not try to dwell on the fact that it's raining.
Every cloud has a silver lining. There's method in my madness, just wait. Going to be great pictures coming off this, because as you let go of the string, the water springs off that string.
Yeah, you could just see Steve as well. He was plucking his string before going onto the line, and that's purely to get some water off of the bow and typically off of the string mostly.
Start of the second quarterfinal. Steve Wijler from the Netherlands shooting first. And look, we cannot judge that 7 as we normally would, because it is absolutely tipping it down here in the German capital.
Yeah, and there was a bit of a twitch, and he was looking at his clicker after, so I think he was checking if he didn't shoot through the clicker, because I think the raindrops on the bow also make it feel like the clicker is going off. Another little interesting fact to note about this match is that Eric Peters doesn't actually have the interim head coach of Canada behind him right now, which would be Ron van der Hoff. Interesting end there by Steve. So Ron van der Hoff, former coach of Steve, is head coach, interim head coach for Canada. Not in the coaching box. Actually, we're seeing Joe Lesnar, the mental performance coach that Eric has worked with for years and years. Calling out, "I love you, chef."
Did he really?
Yeah, he did.
Does he know you're here?
I think he does. And I've worked together with Joe as well on like a freelance basis for the Canadian team, so we know each other. It's interesting to see that Ron is not behind him, but the mental performance coaches. And I think that mostly has to do with the fact that Eric has been working with him for years rather than just half the year.
Yeah.
He's known Ron.
More familiarity in the box. And nice to see that you have a fan.
Yeah, at least I have one fan. Now I know for sure.
This is a tricky start, though, for Steve Wijler, your compatriot. Eric Peters made it look like there was no rain falling at all.
Yeah, he's just, I don't think he's ignoring it, he's acknowledging it.
Certainly a character in the box for the Canadian. Steve Wijler looking on and wondering how he's going to fix the problem that he faced in that one. Just 18, it's been corrected, 17 points for Wijler in that first set compared to 27 for Eric Peters.
I think the biggest difference between these two archers right now is that Eric Peters is like seeing the humor of the situation where, well, yes, it's pouring down. There's nothing you can do about it. And Steve is just like he's laser focused to try and fix the issues that he's been having. So
Better, pointing in the right direction. That arrow, first one of the second set of this quarterfinal. Eric Peters making light work of the rain, certainly lighter than this man. There we go.
I think Eric needs to move aside just a little bit to the left because most of the arrows have hit left.
Taking him 3 arrows to get into this, but put down a 10-point advantage on his score in the first set, and gets the points in the second set to draw things level. It definitely took Steve Wijler a set to get into this one.
Yeah, it did indeed, and well, his last arrow, well, he managed to shoot a really good, well, last set rather. The first set, I think he was struggling with feeling when the clicker went. That's kind of my gut feel. It almost seemed like he was pulling through the clicker and not noticing that he pulled through the clicker and then just shooting it. So I think that was just because the rain is falling on his bow so hard, it's almost feeling as if the clicker went.
Laser focused in the second set though, getting his first 10 and taking the set points to level things up. I've seen it rain at archery competitions, outdoor archery competitions. I don't think I've ever seen it this torrential.
No, typically it won't rain this hard because normally we get to travel to really nice places when it comes to weather. But it does sometimes happen, and well, the only good reason to stop shooting is when it gets unsafe. So that's like when it's thunder and lightning, or when the wind is so hard that things are blowing over the field. But rain is not really ever gonna stop the competition.
Rain doesn't stop play like it does in tennis or cricket.
Exactly.
Third set. Peters with the 1-point advantage after 1 arrow each.
8.
Very important 10 here.
Drifting out for another 26. And you've got to say, hats off to Steve Wijler. Don't take your hat off, it's raining, you want to keep your face dry. But he's come from 2-0 down and a 17 in that first set to shoot a 27 and a 28. And now even he's seeing the funny side of things. I mean, it's absolutely appalling out there.
Yeah, and that's, well, you have to deal with it. You cannot just think this is not fun, I'm not having fun, it's so wet. You have to just accept the fact, okay, I'm gonna get drenched because that's essentially what's gonna happen. I need to adjust to it with my shooting, or your equipment at least, and just try your best to pretend or acknowledge that it's raining, but just shoot your best.
I want to be careful how I ask this next question. Eric Peters is the world number 31, so no mug on the range for sure. But Steve Wijler is the world number 9. Is it possible that if Peters deals with the rain better than Wijler, he's going to, or if he's happier in the rain than Wijler, he's going to decrease that gap in ranking?
Yeah, that could be. Although I feel like the world ranking of Eric doesn't necessarily depict his level of shooting really well, because he has been on the up. He has been shooting better and better throughout the season. Steve has as well. Obviously, he got that third place in, I think it was Shanghai. But yeah, he has been growing into the season as well, leading up to this World Championship. So it's going to be an interesting matchup regardless.
Yeah, both made it to the Elite 8, the World Championships.
9.
And it's just very difficult to judge how much the rain is actually going to affect the arrows, because it's going, it's not consistent. It will rain more or less depending on the moment. It's being called a 9. I think they're going to have a bit of a closer look at it, but
9.
it's not going to matter for this.
No, either way, the set points are going to Eric Peters, and we will be at 4-4, of course, for the record books. I want to know whether that last arrow gets marked up. So you're saying it's not consistent rain, it's just started to ease off. It's like someone actually half turned off the tap there. Look how little it's raining compared. Yeah, I'll bet. Compared to just 5 minutes ago.
Joe is just enjoying his 15 minutes of fame here, I think.
I think he really is. I think he's... I mean, did you know he loved you?
Well,
unless there's another chef in the crowd.
he has mentioned it before, but this is a bit more blatant than what I've heard before.
If only we had a camera in the commentary position. Jeff, I'm calling you Jeff now. Yeah. Chef is bright red with embarrassment right next to me, and that's a nervous giggle that you're getting from Chef Vandenberg.
Let's put it this way, this is not what I expected to be commentating on
at the World Championships in the Recurve men's individual competition, where Olympic qualifying spots are up for grabs. Let's move on from our Canadian friend in the box. 4 apiece. 5th regulation set to decide this one.
8.
And I think, like we were talking about, the rain kind of eased off. And not really adapting to it. It's a much better arrow, but only gets a 9 rewarded.
That could be a critical arrow. Good response, but Peters can do this with a 10. Oh, now they're cheering in the crowd. Oh, this is so close. Do you have a feel?
Looks like a 9. Throw it over to our target judge for official arrow value validation. Li Shinping will be inspecting particularly that arrow on Eric Peters' side of the field.
Second arrow. It does look like it's cutting, doesn't it?
We want to wait for the official call, but I mean, come on. We both see that it's in, right?
Yeah, it looks to be in to me, and that would mean Eric Peters does it, and there is confirmation that 9 was marked up to a 10 for a 28 and a 6-4 victory for Eric Peters from Canada, beating, I have to say, before the rain came down, arguably one of the favourites for the title. But Steve Wijler has gone out at the quarterfinal stage. Canada's Eric Peters progresses.
Eric Peters winning 6 set points to 4, and he storms into the semifinals. And what a confidence builder it is to defeat an established archer like Steve Wijler and secure passage into the semifinals.
Im Ring von Berlin verabschieden wir uns von Steve Wijler, meine Damen und Herren.
All right, I think we've got the gist of things from the Canadian mental health coach. He's going to be back later, I'm afraid, Chef. And clearly he's fulfilling a bet that every time he sees himself on the big screen...